Hey everybody, sorry we're getting late, or we're getting started just a minute or two late. But in the past we have talked about a lot about learning how our minds create our experience of the present and what we can do to better harness the idea or the energy of those thoughts that we think. Well, today we start week 7 of a year of thinking magically, and on this 39th day of our program, we're going to take a look at how we can use some of those experiences in the past in order to create a better experience right here and right now. More on that when we come back. Or maybe not. All right, guys, good morning. It is Monday. As I said, it is day 39, week 7 in our Year of Thinking Magically masterclass. And today, the theme is that which is remembered lives. And in the simplest of terms, the mind shift that we're going to make today is really focused on using those memories to create a better experience in the present. So if you're watching us for the first time, this is part of a master class, a private group that's taking place on Facebook. But we decided that we wanted to share that with the general public so that you guys could also have that opportunity to tune in and maybe apply just one little idea every single day, Monday through Friday, to make a small mind shift. And from that mind shift, to be able to create a richer, fuller, more authentic experience in your life. So if you're enjoying this content and you do find value here, we ask that you go ahead and like and subscribe. Share this with folks that you know. That really helps us to meet our goals. And thanks for tuning in. And by all means, join in the conversation. So if you're watching from somewhere for the first time, go ahead and put first timer and let us know where you're tuning in from. And to all of our members of the master class, welcome back. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend as well. And let's go ahead and dive in. So first there was coffee. And so when we talk about this idea of that which remembered lives, the mind shift today is about being a little bit more aware, a little more mindful of those things that we're carrying into the present moment from our past. Lots of people had the same types of childhood. People who are my age had a lot of the same types of childhood experiences. And this morning, a couple of my friends were talking on Facebook about growing up and how we grew up in our families with specific traditions that were reflective of the Italian American experience. And one of those was related to a class that I did last night on Italian witchcraft and magic, and how we, in the folk magic tradition, quite often the meals that you had excuse me, had specific connotations to them that related to our way of life. And one of those things was that Wednesday, now for folks who lived up in the Boston area, Wednesday was Prince Spaghetti Day, and that was a commercial that we grew up with all over the East Coast. In my family, it was San Giorgio Macaroni Day, Pasta Day. And so we were talking about those experiences, and you could see in the conversation that all of our hearts lifted, all of our hearts lightened. I posted a copy of the video from YouTube of that commercial where the gumad is standing in the window, and she's yelling, "Anthony!" and the little kid's running, and they say, most days Anthony takes his time getting home, but on Wednesday he gets home on time because Wednesday is Prince Pasta Day. And so that just really kind of reinforced for me what we were going to talk about today, is that which remembered lives. Those things that we give our energy to, those things that lift us up from our past, can be used as sort of a foundational point to start the day today with a joyful heart. And that's really what living is all about. That's really what we're trying to do in this experience of living more fully, more freely, and more grounded, more rooted in the present moment. So ask yourself as we start a new week, what are some of the things from your childhood that you might have overlooked, that you might not have thought about in a while, but that really were magical experiences? Maybe it was the fact that you could come home and just freely create in your mind a fantasy world of what it was going to be like when you grew up, or when you got married, or when you went to work. And how many of those things that you were empowered to dream in your childhood have actually come into fruition in one way or the other? Sure, maybe you dreamed of being a ballerina when you were an 8-year-old girl, and you may not be a ballerina today, but your life may have a certain rhythm and movement to it, and there might be activity and artsy people surrounding you. You created that when you were a child. And how fortunate are we to have grown up in magical households, some of us not even realizing at the time that they were magical. So today, as we get deeper and deeper into this winter holiday season, why not take a few minutes to look at our past, at our childhood, with that same wonder, that same childlike awe at the things that happened that were good. So much of our time is spent thinking about the things that happened that are not good. So much of our time is spent thinking about the sad events that happened, and the people that we've lost, and all of that. And when we do that, we end up bringing that energy into the present moment, and that energy is heavy. That energy is grief-filled. That energy is toxic. So why not just let ourselves bask for one day? And if you can't do it for a whole day, for 15 minutes, let yourself bask in the experience of that childhood wonder and that childhood joy. We try to keep these reflections brief because we know that a lot of you are trying to catch up after watching and trying to really digest some of the longer segments that we did on the Hermetic principles, and on living magically, and on using the one command. And I encourage you to get through all of that material in the month of December, so that when you start the new year, you're starting new. You're starting with a really solid foundation. So I'm going to keep these brief, as brief as we possibly can, without taking away or diluting the meaning that's there. And so thank you for tuning in. Take that few minutes today, and as we say at the end of every one of these broadcasts, then I encourage you more than anything to allow yourself to be rooted in this present moment, because our past can inform us. Our past can give us great instruction, but it no longer exists, and only the present moment does, and that's where the point of power is. And if you allow yourself to fill that point of power, that present moment, with gratitude, then that gratitude for what you've got now opens the door for more to come in, for greater to come in. Because if you can't be grateful for what you've got right here and right now, there is no reason to imagine you're going to be happier with more. But most importantly, always remember, the best is yet to come. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great week, guys.